join your hands in welcoming Dr. Jessie Sagawa.
Good day, everyone. Maybe the shorter one, yes. Hello, hello, how am I doing? Thank you. I am honored to be here to celebrate Emancipation Day with you. I had my thoughts continually moving ever since I was asked to come and talk about Emancipation Day. I said, what do I want to do? So eventually, I came up with a number of issues, but they told me the time is limited, so I would try to be limited. I would like to start, since the land acknowledgement has already been done, I would like to start by acknowledging ancestors left grieving after their kin were taken away. In that group, I include my great-great-grandmother, whose brother was taken and eventually ended up in British Somaliland. I acknowledge all spirits of those who died on their way to the coast, those who perished in dungeons before their overseas journey, those who chose death by throwing themselves overboard on the oceans and lie on the still floor of the ocean. Those who still managed to get across to the lands of enslavement and ended up undergoing a lot of cruel, inhumane treatment and living a life enslaved. We acknowledge all those. We may not know your names, but you are known to the Creator. May your souls keep resting in peace. On August 1833, Britain declared the slave trade illegal and declared emancipation of enslaved people in its colonies. Years later, an ambivalent Abraham Lincoln confessed that, and I quote, "If I could save the Union without freeing any slaves, I would do it. And if I could save it by freeing, thank you. And if I could save it by freeing all the slaves, I would do it. And if I could save it by freeing some and leaving others alone, I would do that." Yet the same Lincoln would later declare, "I'm naturally anti-slavery. If slavery is not wrong, nothing is wrong." And also, whenever I hear anyone arguing for slavery, I feel a strong impulse to see it tried on him. During the civil rights fight, Martin Luther King II noted, "Lincoln achieved immortality because he issued the Emancipation Proclamation. His hesitation had not stayed his hand when historic necessity charted but one course. No president can be great or even fit for office if he attempts to accommodate to injustice to maintain his political balance." And I repeat the same words, but only rephrased. If you cannot offer justice to all the people who reside in this good country of Canada that we call our home, you are not fit to represent the people. If you can stand and agree that some people are less than in this country, you do not deserve to sit in that august house in Ottawa or that august house in New Brunswick. All people descend from the Creator, and they descend with their skills. Recognize that and live a much better life. For those who are friends of African and African descended people, our plea to you is do not just support us, but help education. We start by educating the young. When the young grow up knowing that skin color is not destiny, we will have a better country. Let us choose the character that Martin Luther King already pointed out, Martin Luther King Jr. pointed out, would be the yardstick by which anyone is measured. I am grateful that the government declared Emancipation Day, and as I said, it brings its own sorrows and joys. While we celebrate, I would like us to remember that there are still people that are excluded from the equal treatment under the law. Let us forge a way ahead together, because if you are not an African or African descended person, but you do not educate your children, the same things that we talk against today will be repeated. History repeats itself when people forget what has come before. We need to change the curriculum. Enslaved Africans and African Canadians need to know that history does not begin with colonization or enslavement. There is a rich history. They are descended from great people, and that should be the mantra that we all remember when we come against anti-Black racism. Thank you. Finally, I would like to make the following points in closing. We are not asking for many things. African people and African descended people are the only race that has never received an apology for the atrocious treatment. It is time for us to get an apology. To not give us an apology tells us that our trauma is not founded. It tells us that we do not matter, and it tells us that we are less than. Because if this had happened to any other group, an apology would have been rendered already. We also want recognition of African and African descended people's labor. The same money you pay to any other Canadian for the same work needs to be paid to people of African descent. We also want changes that reflect that in the law, Africans and African descended people will be treated the same way as any other person, irrespective of their skin color. Thank you.